Let's talk for a moment about something that quietly shapes your life, your habits and patterns. Because something I've noticed is this: when certain habits and behaviors stop making your life easier, you are left with a decision. Do you keep them or do you let them go? Habits and patterns are powerful. They shape how you think, how you respond, and ultimately how your life unfolds. Some patterns help you grow. They bring structure, clarity, and progress, but others quietly hold you back. Something life teaches you over time is this: not everything that feels familiar is beneficial, and not every habit you have carried is meant to stay. At some point, you begin to notice certain patterns or habits are no longer helping you. They're not making life easier, they're making it harder. They create stress instead of peace, confusion instead of clarity, and stagnation instead of growth. When patterns or habits are no longer making your life easier, it becomes necessary to modify, change, or get rid of those behaviors. In other words, they need to be flexible over time as our lives and environment change. What once was effective for you growing up may no longer work for you in adulthood. Formerly, healthy behaviors may now appear unhealthy in your current environment. This can leave a person feeling stuck or anxious and even place them at risk for depression and substance abuse. It can also lead to toxic relationship with others. And that's where the real question begins. Do you keep what's comfortable or do you let go for the sake of growth? Because growth often requires release. Letting go is not always easy. Sometimes it means releasing old habits, old mindsets, old way of responding, even familiar environments. But holding on to what no longer serves you can quietly limit your future. Something I've come to understand is this: change doesn't begin when life forces it. It begins when you recognize what is no longer working. Staying in habits that create stress instead of structure, holding on to patterns that repeat the same negative outcomes, continuing behaviors that block your progress are some examples of habits and patterns that are not working in your life. So, understanding which behaviors are enhancing your life versus those that are limiting is critical in improving your mood, your productivity, and relationships. Oftentimes, the behaviors that are most unhealthy are the ones most familiar to you. For example, people pleasing. While the most comforting behaviors can sometimes be the most toxic, such as smoking. Understanding this concept allows you to be more objective to your own behavior and gives you the space to make changes and monitor your progress over time. The truth is, You cannot step into a new level of life while holding on to old patterns that no longer fit it. So let me ask you something. What in your life is no longer making things easier? What patterns are you holding onto simply because it feels familiar? What habits are you holding onto simply because you feel comfortable with them? And what could change for you? What could change right now in your life if you choose to release these habits and patterns that are no longer serving you? Sometimes the most powerful decision you can make is this: to stop repeating what is comfortable and start choosing what is necessary. Letting go of the familiar can be a scary process, especially when changing long-standing habits and patterns. Difficult feelings can come up and negative self-talk emerges. Changing behaviors involves motivation, flexible thinking, and a willingness to change despite the emotional discomfort that may come up during this process. It's important to learn ways to tolerate these feelings in the moment, yet still move forward towards your goal of changing. And that avoiding discomfort will only lead to the repetition of unhealthy behaviors. Change does not always come easy. Accepting that it may feel bad at times and that messing up is part of the change process will help you establish appropriate and realistic goals. You are likely working against years of repetition and familiarity, so be sure to manage your expectations. Allow for mistakes, setbacks, and imperfections. Remember that what is healthy for one person may not be healthy for another. Be gentle with yourself. Be patient. If you do the hard work, healthy change will follow. And then you will be able to let go of patterns and habits that are no longer serving you. You will be able to let go of patterns or habits that are no longer making your life easier. If this message spoke to you, take a moment to reflect. What is one pattern or habit in your life you know you need to let go of? Share your thoughts in the comments. Your honesty may help someone else. Like this video if it encouraged you. Share it with someone who needs clarity. Subscribe to Marilyn Mars Odyssey for more life wisdom and growth conversations. Until I see you again, this is Marilyn Mars Odyssey, where every conversation is part of the journey. More love, more light.